It's a real pleasure to be talking to all of you. These have been very difficult times, I must say. Last 2 years, we have faced this COVID-19 pandemic, not just in our country, but in the entire world. And I think education sector is something which has been really impacted by this COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, there has been so much of change in the education sector that it is estimated that change which would have otherwise taken nearly a decade to happen has happened in a matter of just 2 years. And I think this change is now fully ingrained into the system. And our future, the way we are going to see things now ahead, is going to be totally different from what we have been used to things before the pandemic. So we will, whenever we look at education sector in the future, we were going to look at it as pre-COVID and post-COVID. And I think that is something which really gives us an opportunity to look at what has changed and how do we sustain some of the positive changes which have taken place. So first and foremost is that online education was not just a desired thing, but it became a necessity during this COVID pandemic, and we were all forced to go online. In fact, I must say that since I'm handling the state of Telangana, the higher education sector there, out of last 2 years, we have had just less than 4 months of the class work, but most of the time we have been online. And though it has been something which we adopted to reach out to the students, but our experience has been that a large number of students have been left out of the whole thing because of various issues, like either a lack of device or a lack of good internet connectivity, especially in the remote areas, and also for the students who are from the marginalized background. And that is giving us an agenda that in order to move ahead in the future, we have to look for now a device per child kind of a model. In fact, it will become not only desirable, but as I said, it will become imperative as we move forward to look at an education model where there is a device per child in case we have to fully utilize the strength of the online education. But in the short run, I think what we have all now come to a common conclusion is that the best way to move forward is a more of a hybrid way where we can leverage both the power of the online education as well as the physical education in order to move forward, because there are some inherent advantages in terms of physical education which we have not been able to achieve through the online mode. That is, one is that education is not just a one-way process from the teacher to the student, but also the teacher also learns from the students in many ways as to how they are learning and what their learning needs are. And also in terms of the rich interaction which takes place between the teacher and the students is also a learning for the teacher also, I must say. And apart from this, there is also a peer-to-peer learning which takes place in a physical environment in an educational institution, something which we have not been able to get through the online education. So, but online also, if we really look at it, there are some real advantages in terms of that. You can actually reach out to the students at the time of their convenience, at the place of their convenience. In the sense, once you go digital, the student can also later on rewind, fast forward, slow motion, whatever number of times the student wants to watch, that capacity is there, and one can go in a more personalized way. And I think moving forward, we need to combine the advantages of these two worlds, the online world and the offline world, in order to really take education to the students in a way in which it addresses their needs in a more meaningful way. And that's why I think more or less now the educational community has come to the conclusion that the future is hybrid or a blended mode of learning. So that is one big takeaway. The second is when we are now using the online methodology in a big way, I think there's also a fundamental need to change the pedagogy also in many ways. The way things work in a physical world, I think simple replication of that in the online world is something which doesn't allow us to fully leverage the strength of the online mechanism. And I think for that, we've got some good pilots, not just in our country, but across the world also, which are showing us the way as to how to best utilize the online methodology in order to reach out to more and more students. And we need to really work on the right pedagogical models as to what is in the best interest of the student, what is the best way that the student learns from the whole process, rather than simply copying the mechanism of reaching out to the students in a physical classroom. And I think that is something which is an agenda for the future. Third is there's already a huge amount of content available now. I think if you really look at some of the online resources, the content is now a dime a dozen. And what is now becoming more and more imperative is how do we structure this content? How do we curate this content to take out the best possible content for the students? And this is, I think, going to be one of the very important components of the online education as we move forward. That is, how do you best curate the content? It's going to be something very similar to the way books are prescribed in an institution when we were in the fully physical board. There'll be hundreds and hundreds of books on a particular topic, but then the institution invests or the faculty member invests time and energy in finding out which are the best books which are for the reference, or which are prescribed, or which are model textbooks for the students to look at. And I think even in the online world, we have to move now towards that kind of a direction, where an educational institution which is not creating its own content, but curating the content which is available across various platforms, now gets into this method of curating the content which is needed for the students in terms of prescribing which are the best resources, so that every student does not waste his or her time in searching for the right material online. And that is a kind of, I would say, a little change in the of the education institutions, that they have to spend now time and energy, so that students' time and energy is saved in terms of finding the right material. And that is going to be, I think, increasingly important as we move forward. And specifically, I must say that even in the state of Telangana, we have had a number of successes in digitizing not just our content, but also digitizing the way we work. For example, almost our entire evaluation now system is completely now, that is, evaluation means the evaluation from the faculty side of it. That is completely now online. That is, we call it, in fact, the on-screen digital evaluation system in the state of Telangana. The answer scripts which are written by the students in various colleges, they get scanned and then they move to the teachers completely online, and then they evaluate it. The online examination system, mainly for the reason that every student is not having access to either a device or a good internet connectivity in the places in which they're staying. So if we would have had gone completely online in terms of examination, we would have had deprived the students from accessing the examination. And in case you expect the students to go to a physical location, then the process can as well be offline also. So this is something which has been a challenge, I would say, mainly for most of the public examinations. Universities which are standalone universities here and there, especially who cater to students from the better backgrounds, they have been able to go online for online examination. But in the public system, I think it has been very difficult to do that. And in future, if we really want to go online in terms of education, as I said, we need to have a device per child, and unless until we do that, I don't think it'll be possible to reach out to the last student in the queue. And unless until we do that, I don't think in a public system it is justifiable to deprive that student from a chance. There are also many other attendant issues which are coming up, and one of them is the issue of cybersecurity. In fact, a lot of now time and effort is now going into ensuring that especially cybersecurity of these systems is robust. In fact, many of us have experienced the problems which we had in some of the freely available video conferencing systems. In fact, there have been some controversies surrounding some of the platforms also, including the one which we are using for this conference today. But I think of late, a lot of work has happened. And I think a similar work and similar focus will need to be also there in ensuring that the systems are robust enough. Wherever people have experimented with online examination, also, in fact, one of our autonomous colleges in one of the universities in Telangana used online system to reach out the students for examinations. One of the issues was that if the internet connectivity goes away in the middle and the connection is lost, what happens? Also, if the student is looking here and there, how many warnings we have to give to the student, and how do we ensure that it is really foolproof? And this is something where we need to really put in time and effort in ensuring that there are robust systems which are available to meet our needs. Cybersecurity would also mean that the data which we collect or the data which is there at the back end is also adequately protected, and that is the reason why cybersecurity systems in education sector are going to be increasingly important. And I think there's need to do a lot of work in this regard. Going forth, in Telangana, we are also focusing a lot on the administrative side of the education institutions, also in terms of the digital management systems in managing our institutions. So we are designing, we are working on a completely pan-state university management systems, where all the universities are going to follow a common university management system, which is right now under development. In fact, almost 50% of it has been already launched, and the balance of it, we are expecting it to be launched very soon. And this is something which we are now expecting all the universities in the state of Telangana to adopt, to ensure that their administrative processes are also not just robust, but also very user-friendly in terms of ensuring that the students and the faculty members who use them should be able to use them very easily and effectively. And the problem of having disjointed modules for various tasks in the university goes away, because most universities, especially it is our experience, that they have been designed or developed over different periods of time. So many of them don't talk to each other, or many of them don't sync with each other. And that resulted in a need for developing an integrated management system, university management system, which we are in the process of developing. And I think once that is fully developed, that will be a real role model for other states also. We have already digitized our entire admission process. In fact, we call it DOS, the Degree Online Services Telangana, which I must say is one of the really very well functioning systems in the state of Telangana, wherein more than 220,000 students take admissions every year in our degree colleges. And this has really obviated the need of students moving from one institution to the other, buying their application forms, filling their application forms, waiting for the cutoffs for those colleges to be announced. And then if somebody is getting admission in multiple colleges, which college to choose and which college to not to choose. And the colleges also are also benefited in the process, that they are also very certain about the students who are going to join and the course which they're going to join. And from the state level also, we are having real-time data in terms of student needs and student choices, and also where the students are going, and which are the courses and which are the institutions which are favored by the students. And that has really helped us to plan our educational system much more effectively. In fact, due to this, I must say, we have been able to reorganize the courses in the state of Telangana in government colleges, which has resulted in nearly a 67% growth in our admission numbers in a period of last 4 academic years. In fact, if you look at year to year, there's been a huge growth, because we have been now able to redesign our courses in order to meet the student choices much better, and a location of their choosing choice. And that is the one example of how, when we effectively implement digital systems, there are so many spin-offs. And I think going forward, sky is the limit. And I am personally very optimistic of the changes which are happening in the education sector and which are expected to happen. And with the new NEP coming in, and the experience which we have got through these changes during the pandemic, I think ensures or gives us a lot of confidence that the future of education in India is very bright. And I'm looking forward to some very positive changes in this sector. And I also look forward to the rest of the conference, and the, I would say, very rich panels, panels with a lot of experience, who are going to share their experience as well as knowledge and understanding of this sector, so that we are all benefited from the process. So with these few words, I hand over back.